Welcome to Cloudify Podcast, brought to you by Cloud Advisory. On this podcast, we talk about ways to grow, innovate, and automate your business using the Salesforce Customer Experience Platform. Without further ado, here is the next episode of Cloudify.
Welcome to the Cloudify Podcast. This is episode 5. Cloudify Podcast is brought to you by Cloud Advisory, a registered Salesforce partner. Today in our episode 5, we discuss what is marketing automation all about. Marketing automation, basically this is the use of software to automate your marketing campaigns, particularly your digital campaigns. The idea behind it is to automate both lead generation and nurturing. And we'll talk about both concepts. And the idea is to go from initial prospect contact to the entire sales process in a digital format on more of a mass scale. Marketing automation software is really the key component behind marketing automation. So there's a lot of these platforms that are out there that you're probably looking at, some of them to automate all the different touch points that you might have to generate leads digitally. I think the reality today is that sales has changed, and customers are, particularly I guess what they call millennials, that generation feel that they don't need a salesperson to make a decision, and that they can go out onto the internet and they can basically do their own research. And they're right, basically. And so what you have to do as a company is be a part of that process and provide relevant information and content for buyers to kind of go through their own journey. But then you need some sort of a platform, is the idea, some sort of a software automation process that tracks prospects through their buying journey. So usually marketing automation software has a number of components that address the different online channels that there are. An example of that is email. Another might be social media or paid media. There's also platforms that address kind of more organic traffic or organic search result based traffic, so SEO to your websites. The idea behind marketing automation software is to automate repetitive tasks that you might normally have to perform manually. And then, of course, reporting and analytics to kind of tell how your different marketing campaigns are going. So these are kind of common components of a marketing automation platform or software application. So, what's the promise and the reality? Let's talk about what the idea behind marketing automation is that you use software and tactics that allow you to essentially sell digitally. Most automation really occurs, however, at the nurturing stage. So the idea being that you nurture prospects with useful content to step them through their customer journey on your channel or platform. So when someone's out there researching a product or service or a problem that they have and looking for a solution to it, the idea being that they will find your content through one of the different traffic sources that are mentioned. So whether it's you're interrupting them with email marketing through cold email marketing, or you're conducting some sort of inbound marketing using either paid, organic, or other traffic, social traffic, then the idea is to get those people that are searching for content to find your content. They opt in somehow to get more of your content or to contact them to have a live person help them through that buying journey. The idea is really to understand the buying process and to track the customer or prospect as they step through that process by giving them the right content. So again, really this could be subscribers, web visitors, any other prospects, and get them that content when they need it. So that's kind of the idea and the promise of marketing automation software and the idea behind marketing automation. It's really that you're going to automate digitally that buying process into your sales process. Now, there are a lot of steps, and the technology can be a little bit complex. But again, as we mentioned, most of the technology platforms that are out there to enable you to create a customer journey have some common components. Now, marketers typically will buy marketing automation software with the idea that you're going to buy this platform and it's going to solve all of your lead generation problems. And I don't think that's really the case. That leaves you with basically a really complex tool to deal with the automation of nurturing a prospect through their buying journey, but no actual solution to generate new leads. So I think the reality is that we have to grunt it out, and we have to come up with content that is relevant to visitors and then direct people to that content somehow. So really, we still have to engage in lead generation. So we have to attract people in and give them something they're interested in, and we have to continuously produce content and information pieces to really help generate leads and interest and make customers aware that you potentially have a solution to their problem. And really, the marketing automation component from there kicks in, where you somehow take a casual or a paid visitor and you get them to buy into the fact that you might have an answer to the solution or do have an answer to the solution, and that you're going to help them figure out the answer to their problem. And so that they're willing to buy into that concept. So that's really going from lead to activating them. And really, marketing automation then kicks in my opinion. It's really, yes, you can buy lists of cold emails, and you can hammer them and hope that you get some conversion out of it. And I've tried that, and I think a lot of people have probably tried that. And it's not that it's not effective, it's probably just not the best way to have your initial introduction. So there's a lot of talk out there between interruption marketing versus more of like an attraction marketing. Email marketing is a component in most of these marketing automation platforms, but it's really a quick fix. So the idea that you're going to interrupt somebody's day and let them know that you have a solution to a problem they may or may not have, that's kind of where email marketing, I think, lands. And it is usually a part of most of these marketing automation platforms, but that's not the only way that email plays into the marketing automation process. So the idea that you still need to invest in content and storytelling and have an overall digital marketing strategy is really important. Without that, you really just have kind of a Ferrari, and it's like putting a monkey behind the wheel. I don't know if that's a good analogy or not, but so as we mentioned, when you're looking at marketing automation platforms, we focus just on the software itself or the platforms that you can buy out there. Email is usually a very large component of it. So again, the email marketing of a particular platform that you're evaluating usually has the ability to just really create campaigns, and it's up to you to put the content in. So whether those are email subscribers that opt in or you're putting in cold lists, either way, you're going to use the email marketing component of the platform to create campaigns and send out messages to those lists. As well, this is really where you get into the automation, where you can create a series of emails to a campaign subscriber, whether they choose to subscribe by opt-in or you just stick them in a list. And then you can send out emails, that the idea being you're stepping them through the buying journey and the sales process. Now, those emails can be triggered by time. So it's like when someone's added or adds themselves to a list, they can get a series of emails based upon time. So 24 hours after subscription, 3 days after subscription, and you're presuming that you're going to step them through some sort of a conversation by email or direct them to some sort of content or other action that goes outside of email. They can also be triggered by a one-off event. So let's say you have something going on, you want to just blast out to a campaign list. You can usually use these sort of email features of a marketing automation platform to do that. It can also be triggered by an action on the part of the prospect on the website. So a lot of these platforms will have the capability to have web to list opt-in, or you can just track a contact and their journey on your website, and based upon certain actions on the website, depending on which platform you buy and what you invest in, and the complexity of your digital sales process. And that's another way that emails can be, or autoresponders can be sent out through a marketing automation platform. So again, that's not the only piece. Obviously, content marketing is another big deal. So this is really where you're creating content in the form of PDFs or blog posts or webinars or ebooks. Might be podcast episodes or infographics that you're publishing either on your website or off your website. Many of the marketing automation platforms that are out there will provide the ability to schedule the publishing of content, particularly to websites or to social media. And it allows you to automate the sending process. Also allows you to capture any opt-ins to lists. So most marketing automation platforms are going to have this as a component. Social marketing, so this usually tends to be a little bit more specialized, and sometimes a marketing platform will have this, or it'll be specifically for allowing you to manage your social marketing. So this involves publishing content to various social networks, so it might be LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, even YouTube. It allows you, usually a social marketing component of a marketing automation platform allows you to monitor and track trends. Sometimes you can track hashtags, so you can see, maybe people are mentioning your company, or there are particular hashtags that are out there that relate to the type of work that you're looking for, or the solutions that you provide. So you can see what's going on as far as trends usually with some of these platforms. You can even see responses or social conversations with a lot of the social marketing platforms. So again, sometimes that's part of an overall platform, or sometimes it's a standalone platform. So usually, though, that is part of your marketing automation, because there's all these different social channels, as we know, and that's where all these conversations happen, and you need a way to manage those as part of your overall digital marketing strategy. There can also be the ability to, get content opt-in and amplification. So that's usually a part of the social marketing software that you're going to buy. Paid marketing, so you're going to have some component usually of basically some way to manage your Google AdWords, your LinkedIn pay-per-click, Twitter, YouTube ads, Facebook ads, any of the campaigns associated with those. You want to know, like, what are you paying for, what kind of traffic is coming out of it, and then based upon that traffic, who's opting in and what are the conversion. And you can even have the ability to set goals. So sometimes there's a paid component to a platform. Sometimes you need to use the individual applications that are provided with each of the paid platforms. This is probably one of the tougher areas to kind of shop for a software solution to, because there usually is the native paid marketing application that's built into, say, Google AdWords versus LinkedIn versus Twitter. So they have kind of their own dashboards. But there are solutions out there where you can have a paid marketing tool set as part of your software automation platform that you might buy. Landing pages tend to be another component. And some marketing automation platforms will allow you to publish landing pages, and that really ties back into analytics and reporting very easily then. Sometimes it's just you'll buy a separate tool set where it'll allow you to publish landing pages. So landing pages being these little websites where you're going to see a video or some sort of a message, and there's an opt-in form, and then the opt-in form gets you into a list, which then starts triggering emails. So landing pages can be sometimes part of a marketing automation platform that you buy, or sometimes you just have to knock out individual web pages, either as part of your domain or a standalone domain. But usually there's some sort of solution out there that you might want to buy so that you can do this in a rapid fashion. Again, this can be off website, so typically I would say that paid or spammy, like email traffic, I say spammy, but really email traffic, cold email lists, you should probably have off website landing pages so that it doesn't affect your domain. On website is typically more organic traffic, so SEO, any social referral, you would probably want to go back to your your main website. You can, again, usually on landing pages, you're going to have some sort of an opt-in, like a web form that captures who's requesting what information or help. And then there's tools usually to lay out and publish opt-in pages. And then there's obviously, again, tie-ins to the web analytics so you can track results and manage behaviors. And then you usually want to find some sort of connection to your CRM, because at some point you want leads to come into a CRM. So example being Salesforce, you're going to want some sort of a web to lead connectivity from your marketing automation platform and the landing pages that you generate from that platform. So, what about reporting and analytics? So the idea being that marketers are going to want to set goals for the number of opt-ins and conversions they get from traffic, particularly paid traffic, so they can track the results of how much money they're spending and what return on investment they're getting. So typically reporting and analytics on a marketing automation platform is going to talk about traffic, the source, the cost, going to see what sort of opt-ins you get to any forms that you have, and the conversion sometimes of any leads to customers. So maybe you're not only automating the actual lead generation process, but maybe you're generating the actual sale digitally as well. And then, of course, you want to be able to measure the success of the different campaigns that you run and get an idea of the ROI, the return on investment of what you're spending. And then, of course, this allows marketers to make improvements across all the different channels that are out there, whether it's paid, earned, or social. And then the idea is, again, because there are so many different paths of the customer, you want to look at, does your marketing automation platform allow you to capture a single customer and understand all the different ways that they're connecting to you? Are they coming through email? Are they coming through your website? Are they coming through social? Are they coming through all of those things? Are they coming from a paid ad? What are they opting into? What are they looking at? And what do they need help with? So you can get really complex depending on what your digital strategy is and your plan, your tactics, and what the platform that you buy allows you to automate. So just some examples of marketing automation technology. I think let's look at small, mid, and enterprise examples. On the small business side, a lot of the tools revolve around kind of a standalone feature set. So MailChimp or Constant Contact, for example, these are really around email opt-in lists and then autoresponders or email marketing. Hootsuite is an example of what I would consider a small business social platform where you can monitor and publish basically on social platforms that you own. So, it might be your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn. You would use something like Hootsuite to manage that as a small business. In the mid-market, I think is where you want to start looking at. And you don't have to. You can do this if you're a small business as well, because there's benefit to that. But you have to really have a strategy and understand your digital sales process. But definitely mid-market, you're going to start looking at things like Salesforce, Pardot, Infusionsoft, which is actually maybe even falls over into the small business side. A lot of digital marketers who their whole business is digital marketing will use Infusionsoft to kind of automate that whole customer journey and buying process. HubSpot as well probably could bleed into kind of the small business side, and Marketo, but those are definitely also useful by mid-market companies. And Infusionsoft actually, upon further thought, might fall more into small business than mid-market. It might run into some blocks there, but it can be a fairly complex tool, so we'll just leave it in mid-market for the time being. And then enterprise, you're probably looking at something more like the Salesforce Marketing Cloud, although Pardot definitely is an option. And then HubSpot and Marketo are definitely in that enterprise space. There's also, in the enterprise space, you would look at things like Sitecore, or there's solutions from Oracle and IBM potentially. But those are kind of all examples of marketing automation technology that would enable you to kind of create a customer buying process, or mirror the customer journey with some sort of a digital sales process. So the question is, are you really ready for marketing automation? I think it's a really important question to ask. And as we mentioned, I think marketing automation is great at the nurturing stage. So it doesn't necessarily solve all of your problems at the lead generation stage. You need content creation and you need some sort of a traffic source for that. So there is work to be done there. But what marketing automation will allow you to do is scale that system. So ask yourself, are you generating a steady flow of new and qualified leads already? So if you figured that process out, if you have a sales team, are they overwhelmed with the number of quality leads you're passing along to them? So that's a good question. If so, then there's aspects of marketing automation that can help take the sales process and digitize it. So really you get into that nurturing component and you lessen the impact on the sales team, because by the time they get to an actual live person, they're ready to buy something. So that's kind of the idea behind more advanced use of marketing automation. Has marketing and sales agreed on what conversations should happen with marketing and which with sales? So again, same idea, where in the sales process is it appropriate, or does the customer want to actually interact with a salesperson? And how much of the sales process can you automate using marketing automation software? Do you have enough content and a strategy mapped to your buyer's journey? So if you haven't even got that down, then it's a bit of a challenge. So you've got to understand who's your audience and what's their buying journey and what content do you need to provide to them. And that's where you're going to get leads today from. And then, really, do you have a proven lead nurturing strategy that you want to scale? So once you've got that content mapped to your buyer's journey, then the idea being, okay, well now I'm getting leads, how do I automate this process? So then that's realistic. And then you also can look at nurturing them to the point where they're ready to, not just raise their hand and say, I have a problem that I potentially need a solution to, and then you can nurture more steps in that buying journey towards them actually making a choice. Okay, well, hopefully that's a great overview of what marketing automation is all about. And this leads us into some future episodes that you should look out for. The first being, how do you create a digital marketing strategy for 2016 and beyond, will be episode 6. And we've put marketing in brackets there because really a digital marketing strategy, in my opinion, is a subset of an overall digital business strategy. And we'll talk about that on this episode. In episode 7, we'll talk about a specific platform, which is the Salesforce Pardot marketing automation platform. We'll talk about what it is and how it can help you automate digital marketing. In episode 8, we'll talk about what is Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Once again, Salesforce in the marketing sphere has 2 different platforms, and they have different purposes and potentially different target audiences. And then in episode 9, we will talk about how you would choose between Salesforce Pardot and the Marketing Cloud and any other marketing automation platforms that you might be evaluating. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, please leave them below. If you have questions, you can send them to ideas@cloudadvisory.io. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you on future episodes.
This has been an episode of Cloudify Podcast. Check out other episodes for interesting topics on how to grow, innovate, and automate your business using the Salesforce Customer Experience Platform.